Level 0. Yes, this is you, wrinkling your nose while walking past an overflowing dumpster on a hot summer day. You think garbage collection is a dirty, shameful job for those who couldn't get a degree or find a place in a decent office? But let me instantly shatter your stereotypes. The waste management industry is one of the most stable, hidden, and profitable businesses on the planet. It is the circulatory system of any metropolis, without which civilization would choke on its own waste in exactly 3 days. This is a place of billion-dollar contracts, cutting-edge technology, and salaries that exceed the income of mid-level managers. Fasten your seatbelt. We are diving into the dark side of cleanliness to show you how dirt is turned into pure cash. Level 1. Informal Scavenger. You thought a street sweeper was rock bottom. No. The real first level is found in developing countries, such as India, Kenya, or the Philippines, where millions of people literally live on giant smoldering landfills. Financially, this is absolute survival. You earn between $2 and $5 a day. SORTING plastic, aluminum, and copper, with your bare hands, to sell to middlemen. Sensorily, you are in a toxic hell. You breathe thick black smoke from burning plastic, and your lungs are clogged with ash. The soft, rotting mountain of waste gives way under your feet, and packs of wild dogs roam around you. Your social value is paradoxical. Being the poorest and most disenfranchised link, you are the one manually sorting and returning thousands of tons of raw materials into the economy. If you found a gold chain on the dump, but knew the local crime boss would chop off your hand, would you try to secretly sell it in the city? Or give it to the boss for a tiny reward? In Cairo, the Zabaleen have passed down garbage collection for generations and recycle up to 80% of all waste. From the smoking slums, we move to the paved streets of civilization. Level 2. Street Sweeper. This is the official municipal starting point. To get here, you just need stamina. Financially, you earn around $30,000 a year. Sensorily, your life is monotony and a constant battle with the weather. You feel a dull ache in your lower back, bending over for the 1000th cigarette butt of your shift. Your thick-gloved hands smell of damp earth, and the cold autumn wind blows in your face as you sweep wet leaves. From the outside, people often look away, trying not to notice you, but your usefulness is immense. Without you, the parks would turn into rat breeding grounds. If you found a wallet with $1,000 in cash in the bushes, would you turn it into the police? Or decide that it's your fair bonus? Ancient Roman aediles used horse-drawn carts for the first official street sweeping squads. Level 3. Garbage Truck Hopper. You are the guy hanging off the back step of a moving truck. The salary jumps to $45,000 or $50,000. But this is one of the most dangerous professions in the world. Sensorily, this is absolute extreme. You inhale the concentrated smell of rotting food that seeps right into your skin. You hear the deafening hydraulic crunch as the truck's compactor crushes old sofas. Your main problem is hidden threats. Used needles in bags and distracted car drivers. Ordinary people get mad at you when your truck blocks a narrow street during rush hour. But your social benefit is monumental. You prevent epidemics in residential neighborhoods. What would you choose? A safe job as a cashier for the same salary, or the freedom of outdoor labor, knowing any car behind you could cost you your legs? Refuse collector consistently ranks in the top 5 most deadly professions, higher than police officers. From solid household waste, we dive into the realm of liquid darkness. Level 4. Sewer Diver. Garbage isn't just candy wrappers. It's also what people flush down the pipes. Financially, this is a very dirty but well-paying job, up to $60,000 a year. Sensorily, you are in a claustrophobic nightmare. You descend into dark, narrow concrete tunnels deep beneath the city. You are wearing a heavy rubberized suit, and black, foul-smelling sludge flows up to your knees. Your main battle is against Fatbergs, giant boulders of solidified fat and wipes. You hack at them with a pickaxe by the light of a headlamp. You risk hydrogen sulfide poisoning or drowning during a sudden downpour. Society doesn't even think about you as long as their toilets work properly. But without you, the streets would be flooded with sewage in a week. If the water level in the tunnel suddenly started to rise and your partner twisted his ankle, would you drag him up or climb up alone to call for rescue? The largest Fatberg in London weighed 130 tons, the size of a blue whale. Level 5. Biohazard and Trauma Cleaner. You work with the most terrifying garbage, biological waste. You clean medical waste laboratories, hoarder houses, or brutal crime scenes. The entry barrier is an iron psyche and hazardous materials certifications. Financially, this is a gold mine. Salaries reach $100,000 a year. Sensorily, you are in a hazmat suit, sweating from the heat. You smell the sharp, nose-burning stench of chlorine, ozone, and decaying organics. Your job is to scrape bodily fluids off wallpaper and haul out death-soaked furniture. Your work leaves a very heavy psychological mark, but your social value is immeasurable. You make the premises safe again, and lift an enormous burden off the victim's relatives. Could you coldly scrub a child's room after a tragedy for $1,000 a day? Or would your empathy break you on the very first job? Police never clean up crime scenes. That responsibility falls on relatives or property owners. By the way, while we put on our hazmat suits, it's time for an important maneuver. The YouTube algorithm works like a garbage chute. It drops inactive channels to the bottom. If you don't leave a comment and hit subscribe, this system will simply dispose of our videos, and we won't see each other again. Hit the subscribe button right now. Help the channel grow, and write in the comments, what level of disgust would be your limit? And we step out of the dungeons onto the bridge of heavy machinery. Level 6. Elite NYC Sanitation Driver. You got your commercial driver's license, and here is where true global arbitrage kicks in. If you work for the NYC Department of Sanitation, the famous New York's strongest, your salary easily exceeds $120,000 a year. Plus, you get luxurious health insurance and a pension after 20 years. Sensorily, you sit in the air-conditioned cab of a giant steel monster, but your brain is constantly tense. You are precision maneuvering a 30-ton machine through a maze of parked luxury cars in Manhattan and running pedestrians. From the outside, your truck commands respect. In the US, this is a highly prestigious blue-collar job. If you were offered to move to insanely expensive New York, to work as a garbage truck driver for $120,000, would you agree? The world's first motorized garbage truck was created in Great Britain in 1897. Level 7. The Landfill and MRF Manager. ATT stage. The grid changes form. You no longer touch the garbage with your hands. You manage the flow of the entire operation. You could be operating a $500,000 compactor on a giant landfill, or directing a high-tech materials recovery facility, MRF. Your salary reaches $150,000. Sensorily, if you are at the plant, you stand on a catwalk above a massive conveyor belt. You hear the piercing screech of sensors and the noise of opticals, which use lasers to shoot plastic bottles out of the stream at the speed of light. Your main problem is the stupidity of people throwing hoses into paper bins, which breaks the gears. And at the landfill, you battle toxic gases and ground settling. But your real benefit is turning millions of tons of garbage into secondary raw materials. Knowing that half the trash still goes to the landfill due to poor manual sorting, would you admit the system is inefficient? Modern landfills are not just pits. Methane is collected through pipes and burned for electricity for thousands of homes. Level 8. The Waste Management Tycoon. You are the owner of a massive corporation. You win multi-million-dollar municipal contracts to service entire states. Your income is measured in hundreds of millions. Sensorily, you are in a boardroom that smells of leather chairs and espresso. You see geopolitics and global prices. In the eyes of society, you are often associated with Mafia, Salo, Sopranos. But your social role is managing an invisible empire, without which infrastructure would collapse in a week. If offered to sell your waste empire for a trendy but risky yet startup, would you trade your dirty millions for a clean image? Wayne Huizenga started with just one used garbage truck, Eventually, he bought the Miami Dolphins in Blockbuster Video. You just walked the path from a destitute scavenger to a corporate tycoon who controls the cleanliness of nations. This industry teaches us one thing. The biggest money hides exactly where others are afraid to look. More than 2 billion tons of solid municipal wastes are produced globally every year. Of all the plastic produced in the world, only about 9% is recycled. Taiwan is one of the most efficient, recycling over 60%, thanks to strict laws. Sweden's system is so perfect, they literally don't have enough garbage and import it from Europe. Remember, what you throw in the bin doesn't just disappear. It embarks on a long journey, hidden from your eyes.